Bill 370. Imagine this. Imagine you're trying to look up who owns a piece of property on your county, maybe because taxes went up or a new development popped up. The record exists, but the key details are hidden and you cannot tell who is connected to it or why. What the bill says it does? Senate Bill 370 says it protects the safety and privacy of certain government employees and their families by keeping their home and personal information out of public records. What it actually does? This means all current and former employees of the Texas Attorney General's office, plus public defenders and their families, can block their personal and property information from public view. This also applies to property tax appraisal records. Government agencies can now redact this information automatically, while the public loses the ability to see who owns certain properties or how those properties connect to people in power. Who benefits? Employees of the Attorney General's office, public defenders and their staff, spouses, children, and surviving spouses of those employees, state and local agencies that want to avoid liability over information disclosure. Who pays the price? Taxpayers trying to understand who owns land and pays property taxes, journalists and watchdogs track conflicts of interest, and local communities that rely on transparency to hold officials accountable. Why it matters. Property tax records are one of the few tools everyday Texans have to see how land, money, and power intersect. When that information is hidden, it becomes harder to spot favoritism, conflicts of interest, or unequal treatment. Safety matters, but when secrecy expands without limits, the cost shows up less trust and less accountability for everyone else. Questions to ask your lawmakers. How will the state make sure these protections are limited to real safety risks and not applied automatically to every employee? Why was property tax information included instead of keeping those records transparent while still protecting home addresses? Would you support a review or sunset clause so Texans can reassess whether this law is being used fairly? Bottom line, Senate Bill 370 protects some people from real risks, but it also hides important public information and shifts power away from everyday Texans who rely on transparency to keep government honest.